In the quiet hum of a rainy New York morning, Alex Thompson stared at the envelope on his doormat, his heart twisting with a guilt he'd long buried. For years, these letters from his mother had been his silent tormentors, arriving like clockwork, unopened and unanswered, until today, when he realized this one felt heavier, like the weight of a lifetime unspoken. Alex was 42, a mid-level accountant in a towering glass office overlooking the Hudson River. His days blurred into spreadsheets and conference calls, his evenings into solitary takeout dinners in a sleek, minimalist apartment that echoed with emptiness. He wasn't unkind by nature. Colleagues liked his dry humor, and he tipped waiters generously. But family? That was a door he'd slammed shut long ago. It started back in his 20s, fresh out of college, when he'd moved from their small Connecticut town to the city, chasing dreams of success. His mother, Eleanor, had raised him alone after his father walked out when Alex was 5. She worked 2 jobs, waitressing by day, sewing alterations at night, to keep them afloat. Alex remembered her hands, rough and calloused, always mending something. His jeans, a neighbor's curtains, or her own weary heart. But as he climbed the corporate ladder, resentment festered. Why hadn't she pushed him harder? Why the endless sacrifices that left her frail and him feeling obligated? The last straw was a heated argument 10 years ago over the phone. She'd begged him to visit for Christmas. He'd snapped about his workload, accusing her of guilt-tripping him. "You never let me live my own life," he'd said, his voice sharp as winter wind. She went quiet, then whispered, "I only ever wanted you to be happy, son." He hung up, and that was that. No more calls, just letters. Every day, one arrived, handwritten on cream stationery, her elegant cursive looping across the front. "To my dear Alex." He never opened them. They'd pile up in a drawer, a growing monument to his stubbornness. At first, he'd feel a pang, her scent of lavender soap clinging faintly to the paper. But over time, it dulled to routine. Toss it in the drawer, pour a scotch, scroll through emails. Life moved on. Eleanor's town, Willow Creek, was a world away. Rolling hills, picket fences, a main street with a diner where folks knew your order by heart. She lived in the same clapboard house where Alex grew up, its porch sagging under the weight of memories. Neighbors said she kept busy volunteering at the local shelter, baking pies for fundraisers, listening to widows' stories over tea. "Eleanor's got a heart of gold," they'd say. But Alex didn't know that. He didn't want to. One Tuesday in early fall, the letters stopped. Alex noticed it vaguely, like missing a step on the stairs. The mailbox was empty of her familiar script. Wednesday, same. Thursday. By Friday, an unease settled in his gut, but he pushed it down. "Probably nothing," he muttered to his reflection in the bathroom mirror, lines etching deeper around his eyes. Work consumed him, a big audit, late nights. Weeks blurred. He dated sporadically, women who found his aloofness intriguing at first, then exhausting. "You're like an island," one said before leaving. He shrugged it off. 2 months passed. The drawer of letters mocked him from his desk. One night, after a particularly grueling day, he poured a drink and pulled one out at random. The date was from last year. He slid it open, hands trembling slightly. Her words spilled out, simple and warm. "Dear Alex, the leaves are turning gold here, just like when you were a boy raking them into piles. I baked your favorite apple pie today. Wish you were here to share it. Thinking of you always. Love, Mom. He set it down, throat tight. Why now? But he shoved it back, locked the drawer. Life's demands didn't pause for regrets. Then, on a crisp December afternoon, another envelope arrived. Not in her handwriting. This one was typed from a law firm in Willow Creek, regarding the estate of Eleanor Thompson. Alex's world tilted. He tore it open, scanning the formal letter inside. His mother had passed away 3 weeks ago, peacefully in her sleep. Heart failure, they said. Services had been held. She'd requested a quiet affair. Enclosed was a key and a note. Per her instructions, this is for you, the final letter. The key was to a safety deposit box at the local bank. Alex sat on his couch, staring at it, the city lights twinkling indifferently outside. His chest ached, a hollow void opening up. He hadn't even known she was ill. The letters, he realized now, must have been her way of staying connected, even as her health faded. Why hadn't he replied? Just once? That weekend, he drove to Willow Creek, the first time in a decade. Snow dusted the roads, turning everything soft and muted. The house looked smaller, the porch light flickering like a wary sentinel. Inside, it smelled of her, lavender and fresh linen. Dust motes danced in the winter sun, filtering through lace curtains. He wandered the rooms, memories flooding back. His old bedroom, posters faded on the walls. The kitchen, where she'd hum old tunes while making pancakes. At the bank, the box held a stack of papers and one sealed envelope, addressed in her hand. For Alex, when I'm gone. He took it to a nearby park, sat on a bench overlooking a frozen pond, and opened it with numb fingers. Dear Alex, it began, her cursive steady despite everything. If you're reading this, I've left this world. Don't grieve too hard. I've had a good life, filled with love, even if it was quiet. I know you haven't replied to my letters, and that's okay. I wrote them not for answers, but to remind you that you're loved, no matter what. You see, son, after your father left, I was broken, but I chose kindness as my anchor. I helped others because it healed me. Remember Mrs. Harlow next door? I nursed her through cancer, and in return, she taught me to garden. The boy down the street, Timmy, whose parents fought, I tutored him, and he mowed my lawn for years after. Small acts, but they built a web around me. There's something I never told you. When you were 15, you got into that fight at school, suspended for a week. You thought I bailed you out with savings, but truth is, I didn't have the money. I went door to door, asking neighbors for loans. They gave freely because I'd been there for them, fixing hems, listening to troubles. Kindness returned, Alex. It always does. In these letters, I shared stories of my days, hoping one day you'd see that. But if not, know this. I've left you the house and a fund. Not much, but enough to start fresh if you want. Use it wisely, and remember, life's too short for walls. Reach out, be kind. It comes back when you least expect it. I love you, my boy. Always have, always will. Mom. Tears blurred the page. Alex folded it carefully, the weight lifting and crushing him all at once. He drove back to the house, spent the night in his old bed, the silence profound. The next day, he visited her grave, a simple stone in the town cemetery. I'm sorry, he whispered, snowflakes melting on his cheeks. Back in New York, things shifted slowly. He started small, replying to a colleague's email with genuine interest, helping a stranger with directions. Then bigger. He called an old friend, mended a bridge. The fund from his mother? He used part to volunteer at a city shelter, echoing her ways. One evening, a woman there shared her story, widowed, struggling. He listened, offered advice. Months later, she sent him a thank you note with a homemade pie. Kindness, returning. Years passed. Alex married, had a daughter he named Ellie after his mother. He told her stories of Grandma's letters, the lessons woven in. The drawer of unopened envelopes? He read them all, one by one, savoring her voice. And in quiet moments, he'd smile, knowing the truth his mother had lived. Kindness always returns, not as debt, but as the gentle tide that shapes the shore of a life well lived.